This game is brought to you in HDTV by LG. Life's good. Curtis Shaw, Randall McFall, and John Higgins officiating this one. And the ball belongs at the start to West Virginia.
Both of these teams primarily man-to-man defensive teams that want to apply pressure on the ball. And I think we got a 5-second count there on Joe Mazzulla.
Huggins says, "Are you kidding me? We're going to call that the first time down the floor." And it was Mazzulla who he was hugging. And that shot right before tip. Down underneath to Singler. Doubled up and blocked. Mazzulla escapes Smith. And trips. And the foul call on Nolan Smith.
Well, Kyle Singler and the rest of the Duke Blue Devils will find out that it'll be really difficult to get shots up in close because of the athleticism and length of this West Virginia team. They're not wide bodies, but they are long and they can bounce.
Here's Mazzulla, who got his first start of the season in that regional final against Kentucky. Boy, did he come through. Career high 17 points. Butler sets it up for the three. No. Tapped out. Chased down by Ebanks. Still belongs to the Mountaineers.
Jim, West Virginia is the #1 rebounding team in terms of offensive percentage. They get 42% of their misses. Duke is not bad. They are 8th in the country at 40% of their offensive rebounds. So rebounding will be a large factor in this one at both ends of the floor. And already West Virginia operating on the second shot attempt.
Singler was defending on that.
And he got right by Singler, but then overshot it because Singler was able to challenge him. And he took a bump on the head, too.
Yeah, he collided right into Singler.
And he's not feeling too good about it. He's asking to come out. I'm not sure if he's bleeding. He's just shaking up a bit. At least that's what it appears. Let's take a look. The drive, pump fake, and there it is. He just caught him with the chin. The chin of Singler got the head of Mazzulla. And that's just incidental contact, folks. He must be bleeding.
Well, the chin's okay. I don't know how that one held up for Singler, but Mazzulla goes out. Of course, this is a story much like in the first game, talking about Kalen Lucas of Michigan State being out. Here's Smith with a three, and picked up by Singler, and he's blocked. Squirts out to Shire. West Virginia without Bryan. One of their starters as Smith dishes. Zuback lays it in. Nolan Smith with the assist.
Nicely done, getting that ball moved around until you get it right to Zuback at the rim. And already we've seen each team come up with an offensive rebound, Jim.
Big story in Duke's victory over Baylor in the regional final. Offensive rebound, particularly the job by Lance Thomas. Beautiful move there. Wellington Smith.
Well, all of these West Virginia players can take it off the dribble. They're comfortable putting the ball on the floor. Ebanks defending Nolan Smith, and another block shot for West Virginia. That's 3 denials already.
And down the lane and laying it in is Ebanks. That's 3 blocks in just a little more than 2 minutes.
Well, you have to be able to see your defenders when you go inside, challenging the shot blocking team. There's a good job. You see how Singler was squared up? The last couple of shots he took, he kind of took them blindly. You can't afford to do that against shot blockers. You have to know where they are and go at them. Because if you try to attack them with your back to them, it's their advantage.
Singler's first basket in 47 minutes of action. Did not make one in the Elite 8 game. Butler dishes. Shire saw it coming. And Duke take the outside shot to Smith. Zuback. Shire on a wing for a three. Yes.
Boy, they hurt you. Boy, do they make you pay if they get second shots with the shooters hovering around that three-point line. Boy, nice pace to this one, partner. Up and down we go.
Not like the first one, although I love that action.
Likewise.
Flowers got a three, ties it at 7.
He can shoot it from out there. I mean, you look at that stroke, it's a tad unorthodox. But he's a 32% three-point shooter, so that's not all bad.
Comes in for Missoula. Makes a three.
West Virginia, because of the versatility of its players defensively, can switch a lot of crosses. See, they switch that right there, and then they recover, and a late recovery. See, I think that was a miscommunication because they could probably comfortably switch that without trying to hedge, help, and get back.
That's twice now. Smith has found Zubak.
Missoula at the scorer's table about to check back in, and Ebanks in trouble. You don't want to pick up your dribble there. You hand tie yourself with that half-court line when you're facing good defensive pressure.
Butler, no. Tapped out. Last touch by West Virginia. 9-7. Zubak with a couple of shots from the inside. Well, partner, 3 weeks ago when the selections came out, people were saying maybe all the ones will get there. I wasn't buying into that. I don't think you were either. Kansas shocked by Northern Iowa. Butler beats up on Syracuse, and Kentucky falls to West Virginia. Only Duke makes it here.
And Duke has gotten here with a balanced approach. Excellent defense and rebounding, timely shot making, and outstanding play from this gentleman right here, Nolan Smith. He already has 3 assists, and Duke has assisted on all 4 made field goals to this point.
The Plumlee brothers are in for Duke for the first time. Miles and Mason. They're from right here in Indiana, Warsaw, Indiana, about a little more than 2 hours away.
And Joe Missoula matched up with Mason Plumlee, and that's going to be off of Kevin Jones.
But only 3 seconds on the shot clock, and Singler will he be inbounding near midcourt.
You got to move there. You want to try to catch that ball around the three-point line if you can. I don't think they. Oh, there it is.
Plumlee got it away. That's shot clock violation.
Yeah, did not hit the rim. I didn't know if he was aware of the clock situation, but obviously he tried to get it up on the rim in time.
Missoula back on the floor. Missoula gets it down low.
Boy, West Virginia, Jim, is so good at running its offense. Curl cuts, post ups. Here's a nice look by Nolan Smith on penetration to Zubak. And then an excellent job by Singler to get those shoulders square. Smith taking advantage of a defensive miscommunication by West Virginia and gets Zubak another basket. We talked about Zubs at the top as being one of the keys for Duke, and he's off to a good start.
The foul was on Mason Plumlee. Kevin Jones shoot one more. Talking about offensive rebounding, why that's one of the big stats all season long for the success of the Mountaineers. This guy at the line was a big part of that. Set a single season offensive rebounding record at West Virginia, but Jones misses 2 at the line.
Ebanks defending Nolan Smith. He's done a nice job. Now he switches off on Kyle Singler, and Deshaun Butler will have Smith. That's what West Virginia can do. They can put a lot of different guys in different positions defensively.
Smith to Plumlee. He's got a 4th assist, and the freshman puts 2 on the board for Duke.
Beautiful passing by Duke. And when a team is going to switch, then big guys have to make themselves available around the rim, and that's what Duke has done successfully here in the first 6 minutes.
That was Ebanks from the outside, and that was a 2-point shot. Now Singler into the paint. And the box out by Jones allowed Missoula to come in there, take the rebound off the floor. Smith short on the shot. Lance Thomas coming back out along with Zubac and Andre Dawkins for the first time. Hey, you can relive the entire tournament with NCAA March Madness on demand. You can watch game highlights, the buzzer beaters, complete game replays. It's all free at ncaa.com. Watch the freshman for Duke, number 20. Andre Dawkins, what a beautiful stroke he has. He fired up a couple of threes in the Elite Eight. Hit them both. That's Singler. And Thomas bounces it off of Ebanks, stays with Duke.
Boy, he was terrific. Lance Thomas was in that game against Baylor. He had 8 offensive rebounds of his 9 total. I asked him at practice yesterday, I said, how did you, sleight of frame, come up with 8 offensive rebounds?
Amazing.
He simply said, I pursued the pumpkin.
Is that what it was?
That's what he said.
He sounds like he's been listening to you for a while.
I may have thrown a word in his mouth there.
I think that's out of the Kellogg dictionary. Timeout called by Singler. Pursued the pumpkin. A lot at the end of that game, too, I might add. Timeout.
Yes, sir.
Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg here, Final Four, and Butler. Another opponent held under 60. First time in the shot clock era, reaching a title game by doing that. While doing that. And Butler to play the winner of this one Monday night. The Singler driving in and beautiful off the glass.
Man, that was so nice. Good action, good ball player movement, and then an aggressive drive. That's how you have to challenge a team that's going to pressure you defensively. Move yourselves and attack the rim off the dribble when that lane is open. Plus 6 points in the paint for Duke so far.
Dennis Kalichla coming in for the Mountaineers, 6'9" freshman from Istanbul, Turkey.
Look at Duke extending the defensive pressure here. In part because West Virginia doesn't have a true point guard out there, or at least he's not handling the ball. There's Mazzulla. Now he comes back and gets it. You'll often see West Virginia allow Deshaun Butler or Devin Ebanks to bring the ball up. Both are capable, but they can be shaky against pressure.
Kalichla down low. Oh, hits the shot. His teammates call him the Istanbul. He is a big presence in there. Powerful presence.
He sure is. He's well put together. Look at the shoulders on that guy. I mean, he's carved out a cable wire.
Got him down on Zubac. Shire. Singlet turns around and lays it in.
Duke really doing a nice job, Jim. The big guys are availing themselves at the front of the rim.
Mazzulla pulled down by Zubac. We had Dawkins who wanted it. Singler top of the key. A 3 for Singler.
The tough matchup, and Bob Huggins wants a timeout. His team is having a tough time defending at the rim, and that time everybody was sucked in, and Singler got a wide open 3 that he buried.
Coaching legends. Huggins in a Final Four for the second time. Actually, you combine their wins, and it's the most by 2 coaches ever meeting in an NCAA tournament game. How about that?
Very impressive. Did not know that, but an interesting factoid there. Bob Huggins has been doing it for a long time, and there you see the Hall of Famer, Coach K, very intense and locked in. He has to be pleased with what he's seen from his team, though, because the offensive execution has pretty much been flawless, Jim. Now they're showing a little wrinkle defensively, trying to half-court trap.
Shot from the baseline goes for Kevin Jones.
And they were late getting to a good 3-point shooter.
Singler has scored Duke's last 7 points over the last 90 seconds.
But Jim, you could almost expect that. He didn't make a field goal last week, and he's been on such a tear the last 2 months. You knew he was going to come out locked in and focused, and he's been razor sharp so far offensively, other than the shot blocks.
It's in his hands. Turnaround shot short. and belongs to West Virginia. Deshaun Butler has been held scoreless so far. Halfway through the first half. Duke leads it by 4. Back here at the Final Four, a little game summary to this point.
Well, you see the three-point shooting even. How about points in the paint +6 for Duke? And they've been able to get 6 more shot attempts up, Jim, because they have 4 offensive rebounds, so only 1 offensive rebound for West Virginia.
Litchler has that hook shot again. Shire works out to get the shot open. Called over Zubak to help clear things out. Shire with a 3.
The 3rd triple by Duke. We mentioned it at the top. West Virginia has to guard the arc, but it's more difficult when Zubak is out there setting screens for Shire.
Litchler works hard for that one.
Well, it's obvious they want to try to throw it in there to him, Jim. He's got that wide body. He's giving up a little height to Zubak, but if he can get his body into him, he's shown on a couple of occasions now that he does have enough offense to score in there.
Shire, another one. Comes all the way back out to him in a reach-in on West Virginia. Well, Singler had started out 1 for 5 in this game, but
made his last 4, Jim.
Yep.
Started with a drive, another drive, and he's wide open for this 3, so he's off to a nice start. But he does such an excellent job. There you see his numbers over the last 2 games. How about that? 7 points in his previous 47. He's got 7 already, and far shorter time here tonight.
That foul was on Butler, and that's the first on West Virginia in the game.
I started to mention about Singler. He does such a nice job moving without the ball. He's smart. There you see him just making a simple little double cut to free himself.
Nolan Smith, who had a career-high 29 against Baylor. Been an assist king so far in this one.
Pretty good job here by West Virginia. You've got to continue to contain the dribble penetration, though.
Singler, with Jones all over him.
You can't defend that. You can't defend that. That's just terrific shot making.
11 for Singler. Another shot from the corner by Jones.
Boy, he is so undervalued, I think, nationally. When you look at Kevin Jones, I mean, he is highly productive in the tournament, shooting over 50% from the floor and three-point line.
Travel call this time.
Cleanly played game as far as turnovers go to this point. Both teams only average about 12 a game, so no surprise there.
You always talk about tempo. Is this kind of what you figured it would be right here?
I thought so, because both teams don't mind pushing it. They run their half-court offense quite well, so they're going to take the first available good shot, and there's another 3 from Flowers.
He's come off the bench, delivered to Trey twice.
Now, this game wasn't going to be about tempo like the first one, Jim. This game was going to be about execution, rebounding, and shot making.
Shire takes it in. John Shire showing some quickness to the paint that time.
Yeah, he did a nice job there. Took advantage of his defender being just a bit out of position. And curled right into the lane off the dribble.
Smith. And that is Plumlee saying, get that out of here. It still will be West Virginia ball when we come back. Mountaineers with 10 points off the bench, but Duke leads. Had blood on the uniform, so he's put on 24, retiring it like what they did with Hot Rod Hundley this year.
Well, it actually was due to it being ripped, I think, Jim.
Okay.
Yeah, it was ripped. It had a...
Not with that injury that happened early in the game when he had to be excused. Ball tipped around. And it's going back to Duke. Well, there have only been 2 jerseys ever retired at West Virginia.
That's right. Jerry
West and Hot Rod Hundley.
The logo. Yeah. One of the all-time greats, Jerry West. Well, look at this offensive efficiency for Duke, Jim. 7 assists on 11 field goals made, only 1 turnover. To this point, West Virginia is really not taking anything away from Duke, Jim. They've got stuff at the rim, off dribble penetration. They've made threes. West Virginia has to take something away.
It's Thomas and Zubac coming in. The Plumlees are taken out.
Deshaun Butler, who we featured at the top as the mountain man for the Mountaineers, right now has been quite quiet and more of a molehill than a mountain to this point. They credit Duke's defense. Singler matched up with him now. And doing a good job beating him to the spot when he tries to cut from the weak side to the strong side.
That's Kalichler tapping it, but it goes out of bounds to Duke. These teams met 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament, and West Virginia beat them.
Joe Mazzulla almost had a triple-double in that one, Jim. He was outstanding, and he was the difference in the game. Right now,
talk about a difference in this game.
Yes, sir.
Kyle Singler.
Well, you know, I visited with him yesterday after practice. Well, before practice.
Duke with Shire. Out to Smith, another 3, and the Devils, just like that, widen the gap to 10. First it was Singler, then they got the steal, and Smith delivered another 3. An 8-0 run by Duke.
Back-to-back three-point field goals, part of that, one by Singler, one by Shire. I started to mention about Kyle Singler. I spoke to him yesterday, and he said the biggest difference in his increased and improved shooting performance is nothing more than confidence over the last 2 months. He's been much more assertive and confident, and you see evidence of that here tonight.
That was Wellington Smith with a very confident 3. Nolan Smith tried to match it, and he will again. Smith at one end and Smith at the other.
They punish you on second shot three-point attempts. Offensive rebound by Zubac, and he doesn't even look to score most of the time there unless he's got a wide open layup. He knew Smith was alone at the three-point line, and the lead is back to 10.
Just immediately kicked it out. There's Butler, still hasn't scored. Zubac crashes the boards and draws the foul on Ebanks. Butler's 0 for 3 from the field. Meanwhile, the Butler Bulldogs are 48 hours away from playing for the national championship.
Boy, that's got to be a great feeling to be sitting watching the second semifinal, knowing that you're going to be playing Monday, but you might be getting a little sick if you're watching how Duke is doing everything they want and then some to West Virginia. We mentioned it at the top. Guard the arc. It hasn't happened for the Mountaineers. Duke is spacing them and spraying them from the three-point line.
Duke has hit 7 threes in this first half. That was on Nolan Smith, that foul, his second.
And how about the defense by Duke? No room. The first opportunity for Butler, and he had to work for that one. He is so good at curling. We call that a banana cut when you come from the side opposite the ball and curl into the lane. It's a really tough play to defend. And Butler got himself to the hoop by virtue of that kind of cut. Zubac is down. I think he took a shot below the waist. but he's up right now.
Yeah, he's still in pain.
Yeah, he's grimacing. He's going to go hit somebody.
Now it's going to be on Smith. Wellington Smith bumped him.
Well, he was looking to bump into somebody, and he was able to draw the foul as Wellington Smith tried to go through the screen. It's been all Duke so far.
Well, you were talking about Zubak grimacing.
Yeah, he just got wrapped up with Deshaun Butler and took a hip in a tough spot.
That makes me grimace.
Yeah, you and I both. But he's up right now, and he's been a huge factor. Duke is 12-zip. Second chance point advantage. And they've shot the ball extremely well since a slow start.
That goes back to West Virginia. Zubak with 5 rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive end.
He's been terrific in that area all season long, but particularly here in the tournament, Jim. He's averaging 10 rebounds a game.
What a move by Ebanks.
This West Virginia team will not go away. What they have to do better is get out, one, rebound the ball on the initial shot. Don't give Duke second shot opportunities, and do a better job defending penetration.
How about that? There was a wrestling match in the paint. Thomas was down, Mazzulla was down, and Smith snuck in there.
And Joe Mazzulla took a shot. I'm not quite sure what happened, but he seems to be dazed. But that's been a tough half for Mazzulla. He took a shot on top of the head early on in this one.
Got his jersey ripped.
Yep, his jersey. He had to change jerseys, and now he's hobbling a little bit. But he's a tough hombre, and he's going to stay out there. Nice cut.
Ebanks and one.
Boy, they're so good. I talked about it earlier, Jim. That banana cut from weak side to strong side, right in front of Nolan Smith, and has hoop +1.
That foul on Smith, that is his 3rd, so that's a big development in this one. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, Seth Davis break down the first half. Plus, they will talk live with Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward, and a special tribute to the great Dickenberg. And an AT&T Naismith Watch update coming up on AT&T at the half.
Well, mark this down, Jim. Duke +8 as Nolan Smith sits with his 3rd foul. Duke has enough firepower offensively to get points from other people. Shire and Singler. Zubak on the offensive glass. Dawkins out there who can knock down jump shots.
And Singler right over Jones. Zubak tried to swat it outside, but it was Butler securing it with 2 hands. West Virginia trying to get a little flurry here before the half. On the floor, Thomas trying to take it. Mazzulla. And that's another rebound by Zubak. 6 on the game. Over the top to Zubak, and called for the foul is Jones, who was holding on.
He sure was. That's excellent execution by Duke. They get the mismatch inside. They throw the ball to the high post, and there you see the high-low action, and Kevin Jones clearly grabbed Zubak there, but that's just excellent recognition. Kind of playing in a triangle there. That ball was on the wing, got it up top, and then Zubak, who's so much bigger than any Mountaineer on the floor, is able to seal his guy in the paint.
Another offensive rebound, this time by Thomas. Second chance points. Coming up big for Duke.
We talked about that as well. Rebounding the basketball is going to be significant because both of these teams are excellent offensive rebounding teams. That's an offensive foul on Lance Thomas. He tried to set that screen.
15th foul on Duke. But Duke shooting lights out from behind the arc.
Well, a couple of those have been off second shot chances, and then other times it's just spacing and movement and not much ball pressure or challenging of the shots by West Virginia.
50%, 7 of 14 in the game.
West Virginia usually pretty good at defending the three.
Off the Butler miss. That was Flowers trying to get a putback.
Well, you don't like to see a guy work so hard to get an offensive rebound and then rush the shot attempt, and that's exactly what Flowers did.
And timeout. Blue Devils. 33 seconds to go here in the first half. A fast-moving first half here. Only 5 fouls called on Duke, 4 on West Virginia. That's Singler wanting it. And he went out of bounds.
Well, West Virginia will have the chance to play for the last shot, and that's what they should do here. They should make sure they get the last one. Get it across half court. Call a play, run your set, get into it at about the 7-second mark. 7 or 8 seconds, so you do give yourself a chance possibly for an offensive rebound.
With 8 seconds, here's the shot from 3. No. Tapped around to Shire. He looks up, checks out the clock. He's driving. He knows he has time. Pull up, jumper, no. And we go to the locker room with Duke leading at 39-31. Here is the in-game box score powered by CBS College Sports Network. Cable's home for the NCAA tournament. Let's make that 33 of their 39 points, and Duke inbounds to start the second half.
Well, I think the difference for West Virginia has to be at the defensive end. Duke did not attempt any free throws, as you saw there, but they shot 53% from the floor and made 7 threes. West Virginia has to be able to do a better job at not allowing as many threes and then challenging the three-point shots that Duke does take.
Second foul call on Butler. Just 11 seconds here into the second half.
And then the other thing that West Virginia has to do is rebound the ball better. They got out-rebounded by 7 in that first half.
Zubac, Smith behind him. Zubac too strong off the glass. And it's Butler. Maybe he'll come up with a big second half. Missoula left unattended. That's a 2.
And when that's the case, you have to look at the basket. If defenders are going to back off of you in your shooting range, you have to have the confidence to take the shot.
Singler swishes another one.
Well, West Virginia is just not tight enough defensively, Jim. I mean, they're switching, but if you're going to switch, then you can't give the receiver space. That's the reason that you're switching, to try to take something away.
Singler shot the first basket in 4 minutes of action for Duke, and on the floor it's Thomas. Tied up, and the arrow stays at this end. Missoula able to get it into Jones. It's Butler. Back to him as Jones was able to keep it alive. Now Missoula to the corner. West Virginia had its chances that possession.
Big story there. 12-0 second chance points in favor of Duke. That was only the 4th offensive rebound for West Virginia on that last possession, but they got no points.
Thomas bangs home the jumper. his first points of the game. Well, Nolan Smith had those 3 fouls in the first half, but he also scored the last 11 points for Duke in the first half.
Well, he's been fantastic throughout the tournament. He's had a terrific junior season, and that's Wellington Smith taking advantage of some airspace.
He has 8. The lead is cut to 7. Zubak gives it up to Shire. Shire signals Singler to go down low.
Screen and roll with Zubak. This is what they like to do with Shire. Switch. Now you got to stay tight.
He stepped out of bounds to Singler with his back foot.
Duke likes to do an awful lot off the dribble, although they did have 12 assists on 16 made baskets in the first half. Typically, Singler, Smith, and even Shire will go off the dribble using screens from Zubak to try to create offense. And that's what West Virginia wants to try to make them do more of here in the second half.
That'll draw 2 fouls. Shots at the line. That's called on Zubak, his first. Tomorrow on The Amazing Race, the teams hit the exotic country of Malaysia, where they'll face extreme and surprising challenges. A new Amazing Race tomorrow after 60 minutes, only on CBS. Well, you look at Deshaun Butler, and he's not only the most vocal player on this team, he's certainly their leader. He won the Lowe's Senior Class Award, which recognizes the combination of what you do in athletics, academics, and community service. Not just for those at the Final Four, that's for all of college basketball. It's a great honor. He'll graduate here in just a little more than a month in May.
Our colleague Dick Enberg was the one that started that award to recognize the achievements and accomplishments of four-year players in Division I basketball. And looky here now, West Virginia has cut a 10-point deficit in half. Kevin Jones picks up a foul that he shouldn't pick up with his ability to move his feet. Just took a poor angle and then put his hands on Plumlee. Know your personnel. KYP. Know your personnel. Know the guy you're defending. What is it that he wants to do? What is it that he can do?
Shire shot somehow picked up by Singler. Sets up Smith with a 3. He's not missing those.
That's another second chance opportunity though, Jim. Make it 15 zip now. Second chance points.
Smith pinned for a moment. Butler calling for it.
Quick move. Boy, that was a quick move.
He'll be going to the line when we come back as Mason Plumlee is whistled for that one. Singler, Smith, Shire leading the way. So Butler back at the line for 2 more. Remarkable 6 game-winning shots this year alone.
Well, they had a Mr. Clutch who played his college basketball there. Deshaun has been that for this year's West Virginia team. Jerry West, I'm speaking of, who earned the nickname Mr. Clutch.
Who took them to the Final Four their only other time back in '59. They were defeated by just a point by Pete Newell's California Golden Bears in the championship tilt, 71-70. West was the most outstanding player, though. There's Shire. Somehow, no one near him.
Well, West Virginia was scrambling, and then Shire just used a ball fake to create some open space for himself there. But Jim, it's been warm-up jump shots from behind the three-point line for Duke.
Ebanks again.
Well, he got bumped, no call. They let him play inside, and Jones that time.
Shire over the back.
Yep.
Well, it's already been a magical night here. This Butler-Michigan State game came down to the last seconds, and the Butler Bulldogs have advanced to the national championship game.
Found a way, Jim, despite shooting so poorly, shot 31% as Zubek is back in the middle of things, trying to deal with Kevin Jones now. Boy, nice close off by Nolan Smith.
Well, that was a good look, too, for Jones. Singler. Thomas. And that's going against Zubek, his second.
Solid block out by Kevin Jones that time. And when you're giving up sides, it's imperative that you get your body into a guy like Zubek, who really attacks that offensive glass.
Zubek swarming Wellington Smith.
Deshaun Butler rather, very stagnant, not moving nearly as much as we're accustomed to seeing as Zubek picks up a foul.
His third, and they've all come in this half.
Yeah.
That'll send Wellington Smith to the line.
And that's also the 5th team foul on Duke, Jim. There he is, gets him right on the wrist there as he attempts that jump shot.
Of course, Bob Huggins played at West Virginia. He wore this very number 35 with Wellington Smith. He told Smith when he took the job 3 years ago, don't disgrace the number, okay? And he certainly hasn't.
He sure has not. He's done a really solid job. He's improved as a shooter. He's always been known as a pretty solid interior defender. And look at the free throw game. That's one way you can come back from a deficit, Jim. Start getting yourself to the foul line. You can chip away at a deficit while the clock is stopped. Gives you a chance to catch your breath and rest. And also can sometimes take away the rhythm and momentum of your opponent when you get to that foul line.
Shire stuck for a moment, gets it to Singler. Zubek still on the floor with the 3 fouls, and he drives to the basket off the Singler pass.
Boy, Duke is just really doing an outstanding job of seeing what's available and taking advantage of it. Whether it's the three-point shot, drives on occasion in that first half, getting the ball inside on the pass. But they are in foul trouble now because that's the 6th team foul on the Blue Devils here.
And the first on Singler. Tomorrow on CBS, the head of Roto-Rooter is about to become Joe the Plumber. Don't miss the best episode yet. TV's #1 news show, Undercover Boss, tomorrow only on CBS. Kalichla.
Oh, he's got those chicken wings out.
He needed them.
Yeah, every bit of it.
That's Mazzulla.
He got some help from Kalichla. Just kind of got in the way there.
Mountaineers' first field goal in 4 minutes.
They've been cashing it at the free throw line to keep this a single-digit deficit.
Nolan Smith.
See, those are warm-up jumpers. The West Virginia Mountaineers, a really good defensive team, has not offered much headwind at all. Duke has been able to go to their full arsenal offensively. And you can't let a team that can make shots like Duke do that.
Well, that's a traveling call. Flowers is going to return for the Mountaineers. That's the first West Virginia turnover in 15 minutes.
I mentioned it in the first half. Both of these teams, Jim, are really good at taking care of the ball. About 12 turnovers a game is what they average.
Shire. That'll send him to the line for 3.
Well, let's take a look.
Kalichla got him right on the arm.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't take much.
How about this? First free throws of the night for the Blue Devils. And the 9th player in Duke history to average double figures all 4 years. Misses the first.
He's also one of the best free throw shooters in the history of the NCAA tournament. Until that miss, had made 91% of his tournament free throws.
He had the best free throw percentage in NCAA tournament play in Duke school history. A little surprising with the likes of J.J. Redick and some of the other guys. We remember Christian Laettner going 10 for 10 one time.
Yep. But he is steady and reliable. John Shire
gets the last 2, and it's a double-digit lead at 11. 12-5 stretch for Duke.
And a danger zone here for West Virginia. They've got to make sure they get scores every trip and somehow tighten up the defense. If Duke gets a couple of stops, they can crack this thing open with some baskets right here.
Smith driving in. Only going to call that a block foul on Kevin Jones.
And it clearly was a block. Kevin Jones was not in legal guarding position at all. And Nolan Smith, I love the aggressiveness there. Anytime you're a good ball handler with good offensive moves, when you've got defenders backpedaling in the open court, you're in control.
Wellington Smith for Jones. One more for Nolan Smith, trying to lead Duke to a championship here in Indianapolis, the city where his father won a championship with Louisville 30 years ago. Derek Smith. Kalichla backing in and lost it. Scraped off the floor by Smith. I don't know if it was Plumlee or Singler. They're going to call a technical on Miles Plumlee for hanging on the rim. Smith is hurt. Singler with Plumlee behind him.
Well, they both, that's 4 hands on that one. That was both of them, boy. Man, what a look at that.
We know who the technical's going against. Who do you count the basket with?
I'm not sure about that one.
Timeout on the floor. 17-0 on the Duke side of the ledger. And how about the play of John Shire?
Well, he's been steady all season long. Endured a bit of a shooting slump late in the season, but he just continues to play. And he's been in a nice rhythm here tonight.
And what happened here?
Well, we had the follow by Singler and Plumlee. Both got their hands on it, but then Plumlee hung on the rim. And there was no threat of injury, so that's a Class B technical, which means a couple of foul shots for West Virginia and possession of the ball.
That is not a personal foul or a team foul.
That's right.
They gave the basket, by the way, to Plumlee.
Well, if he got the technical, he probably should get the basket,
yeah,
huh?
But, you know, like you said, 4 hands on it. Give him a point each.
Well, he came over the top. Yeah, I can see clearly. He got most of it. Yeah, he had all of that. Well, can Butler get going? Can West Virginia mount some kind of rally here? It's going to have to happen at the defensive end. I mean, offensively, they've been okay, Jim. I mean, they've shot a good percentage. Have not gotten the production from Butler that they'd like to see.
Singler muscles the rebound.
Well, at least in the first half, they shot a reasonable percentage. But see, there's another open 3.
It's going to be on Plumlee.
And that sends Duke over the limit. And now West Virginia, a 70% free throw shooting team, will have an opportunity to carve away at this deficit from the line.
Friday on CBS, brace yourself for the rock stars of medicine from the producer of CSI, Miami Medical, Friday only on CBS. Wellington Smith 1-1. Long rebound to Jones. Shooting only 30% in this half, the Mountaineers. Butler driving. Beautiful move by Deshaun Butler.
Well, the first second chance points for West Virginia on that possession.
Good point. First of the night. That's a hold, they say, on Smith, Wellington Smith.
I tell you what, as hard as West Virginia typically plays on defense, they've been not as sharp as they normally are, but the size of Zubek can wear you down, Jim. Because he's leaning on you, he's bumping into you, he's making it tough for you, and he's much bigger. I mean, it just can start to wear you down emotionally and physically. So that's why the Wildcats have to find a way to do a better job pressuring the ball and disrupting things on the perimeter. But Shire, Smith.
Here's Smith. Over Flowers. That's Zubak with another offensive rebound.
Just went over the top. He was blocked out, but that size advantage allowed him to get that offensive rebound. And the Mountaineers really struggling to handle the perimeter guys for Duke and also to deal with the size up front. Butler didn't like the call, but a good aggressive take by Singler draws the foul.
That's the first, actually the third on Butler. And Singler at the line. He was a hockey player in his early years, up to about the age of 12, serious hockey player. But when the family moved from Salem to Medford, Oregon, and didn't have a rink there, so transitioned to baseball, football, was an all-state high school quarterback his junior year. Senior year, just concentrated on basketball. Everybody knew he had a lot of talent.
Yes, and he's displayed it quite nicely at both ends of the court. Done a nice job here tonight on Butler. There you see him getting over the top of the screen, getting some help.
There's Zubak. Shire.
The lack of true point guards out there really makes it tough for West Virginia to pressure these skilled perimeter players of Duke. See, that's where you miss a Truck Bryant, a Joe Mazzulla, because even though you can switch screens and you have some length, the lack of foot quickness out on the perimeter makes you play soft defensively.
Got a Butler player down, or not Deshaun Butler. He is in agony.
Oh, that does not look good.
Wow.
Boy, you hate to see this, Jim. He's going to collide with Zubek here.
Oh, and his
it looked like his knee got buckled.
His left leg buckled as he was trying to plant and maybe avoid Zubek.
They don't foul, right, John? They don't foul. All-American playing here who just got
Bob Hugginson saying they don't foul. He's talking about Duke. And just in agony here, Butler. kid's been in a West Virginia uniform more than any player in the history of the basketball program at West Virginia. He's been, we talked about it, the leader, vocal leader. He comes to the Final Four his senior year.
Yeah, he's been a pillar and such a productive player. And you look at Coach Huggins and
I'll tell you, that's
trying
pretty
to
strong.
console him. Yeah,
that is really a very powerful moment there, looking at Bob Huggins.
Yeah, you see the emotion.
My goodness.
On his face.
There's
his wife June to the left, the glasses, his two daughters. That's Bob Huggins' wife there on the left. And Deshaun being helped off. Not able to bear any weight at all.
Oh, my goodness.
That is so terrible to see.
You go 4 years. You're one of the top 5 players, they'll all tell you, in the history of West Virginia basketball. Giving it your all on the biggest stage, and you have to be helped off the floor. That is Charlie Huggins, Bob's dad, longtime coach.
One of the finest. And now we try to get back to basketball as Deshaun Butler still writhing in pain and frustration.
Smith. I want to say something about Deshaun Butler. First, let's go down to Tracy.
Well, guys, you saw Deshaun Butler be carried off in complete agony, hysterical crying. It's the outside of his left knee. They're working on him right now. He's pointing to the outside of his left knee. As soon as I get any more information, I'll bring it to you.
Thank you, Tracy. I mentioned the award he won, recognizing his contributions to athletics, academics, community service. You know, and that's flowers at the line. I'll have one more. That Kentucky game last week, I'll tell you something about Butler. An ardent West Virginia fan listening to the game, watching the game, suffered a heart attack during the game. Butler heard about it, and he went to the hospital on his own this week to visit her, to try to lift her spirits, and to thank her for supporting the Mountaineers.
That speaks volumes to the heart of that young man.
Zubek picked up his 4th foul. As Shire gets baseline. And a push-off call against the Mountaineers.
They're taking Butler back to the locker room. And from that picture, it does not look good.
2nd foul on Ebanks. Shire, 1-1.
Well, both teams now well over the limit. So free throws on common fouls the rest of the way. And that would certainly favor Duke. 76% free throw shooting team are the Blue Devils. And with this 15-point cushion, it's going to take a monumental effort by West Virginia to be able to make a comeback, because they've had a tough time defending Duke without fouling. And in this kind of situation, you know Duke will continue to be on the attack.
Yes. Remington Smith tips it in.
Expect the ball to be in this man's hands most of the time. Either he or Nolan Smith.
On the shot clock. Smith drives in. Nicky Krzyzewski loving that action. Nolan Smith. Look, he increased his scoring output this year by 9 points a game, but he has taken it up another big notch in the tournament. Growing up by the game got 19, 8 in the second half. This is Bob Huggins, the player at West Virginia. Co-captain his senior year, played 75 through 77, 3-year letterman. He's also a 2-time academic All-America. And he came back home 3 years ago to his alma mater. And I'll tell you, whatever you think about Bob Huggins, what you saw with the way he tried to console Deshaun Butler, and he cradled him for more than a minute, can only imagine what he was telling him. It's the best I've ever seen.
Touching moment there, and Bob Huggins, as many people have misunderstood him, as the one thing you can never question is how he cares about his players and how his players have always cared about him. It's been a reciprocal and mutual relationship. Sometimes misunderstood by those on the outside, but you saw evidence of what his heart is for his players and vice versa.
Singler feeds the corner to the wing to Smith. Thomas comes flying in, gets charged with that one. 6:39 to play. Duke led by 8 at halftime. It's now 15. Now, I know it's been written a million times this week. It's been talked about on radio shows and television shows about the Hoosiers comparison. You're going to be seeing a whole lot more of that the next 2 days, folks.
Without question, because it looks like Duke is on its way to moving forward. Or even if West Virginia was in a position to perhaps win this one, either way, it was going to still be that David versus Goliath type feel.
No question.
Because you have a Big East representative here, an ACC representative, and one of the outstanding programs in the history of college basketball in Duke against Butler, that's been working towards this opportunity for a long time.
Good feed. Smith goes inside to Ebanks.
One of the few times we've seen that tonight, Jim, and usually West Virginia will get a couple of baskets a half on that type of cut. But Duke has done a really good job of pressuring the ball and also being in good position as a team to take away some of those curls and back cuts.
These were the first points of the second half for Ebanks. Shire gets past the defenders.
Well, everything that we talked about at the top of this telecast that West Virginia needed to do, defend the three-point shot, rebound the basketball, contain dribble penetration, it has not happened.
Another call against Thomas. How about the big three? Talking about Singler, talking about Smith, talking about Shire for the Duke Blue Devils.
They've all been stellar. And Nolan Smith has done it with the penetration and three-point shot making as well as Shire has.
Well, they have 57 of Duke's 69 points.
You know, it hasn't been often this year when all three of them have performed at such a high level. I mean, they've had a few of those games, but typically it's been 2 of the 3. But they're all right at or above their averages for the season. And the shooting percentage as well as the assist. How about that, Jim? I mean, they're not only scoring the ball, but they're making plays for others. Typically for each other, it seems that they've got all of the points.
Well, 5.5 to play.
Well, Duke, Jim, this is probably the most complete game we've seen from the Blue Devils.
And we've seen all 5 of their games in the tournament to this point. They've always had one kind of missing element. Now, Shire had an off game once against Cal. Singler in the game against Baylor. Smith's just come on so strong. That's Missoula. Jones.
Boy, he had an open teammate and elected to take the shot himself there. But things have flattened out a bit since Deshaun Butler had to be carried off the floor with what appeared to be a serious knee injury. Duke was in control at that point.
You know, of course, this is a team, we mentioned it earlier about Bryant being lost earlier in the tournament in a practice. An injury, foot injury. 2 on the shot clock, Shire. Zubak. He's in double figures in rebounds.
Again, he's averaged 10 a game in the tournament. And that'll be a big force for Butler to contend with.
He's got 10 in this one, 5 at each end.
I'm assuming Duke is going to move on unless something drastically changes here over the next 4 minutes.
Smith on the floor trying to call a timeout. They called jump ball first, and the arrow goes back to Duke. Yelling from the Duke bench, 8 on the shot clock. With help from the student body and a full chorus. And a shot clock violation and a break in the action. 3:55 to play, Duke in control. Well, partner, Duke leads it here by 14. Butler's in the championship game on Monday night, and I'm looking forward to the matchup here. I'm not going to advance anybody in the brackets quite yet.
Well, I think we're very close to being able to move Duke forward, and it will be a David and Goliath type matchup, Jim. I mean, there's no way of denying it or looking at it any other way. The Butler Bulldogs, it'll be a blue and white clad stadium here when we show up on Monday night.
Hot Rod Hundley, I mentioned him earlier. His jersey retired this year, number 33. What an artist he was. What a performer, a showman. And in the broadcaster's wing of the Basketball Hall of Fame, he was the first pick in the NBA draft when he came out of West Virginia. And then, of course, next up was Jerry West, who took him to the Final Four. I mentioned this because, you see, the number 33, it was retired, but it already belonged here to Casey Mitchell, and they're going to let him finish his career with it, and then no one will ever wear it again.
A nice gesture.
You got to love it, baby, as Hot Rod would say.
I know that was a nod to Hot Rod.
You got to love it.
One of the great characters and entertainers.
Longtime voice on CBS.
Yep.
Mitchell gets 2. Flowers back out. It's been most of the half right around this margin, you know, anywhere from 11 to 15 most of the time.
That's right. And it's been the ability of Duke's perimeter players to control the game, and then the size of Zubak inside to create second shot opportunities.
Singler with the pure stroke, and it's a 3.
Well, you start looking ahead, Jim, and Butler is terrific defensively, but they're going to have to be really good offensively, I think, as well, to have a chance to knock off Duke. It's certainly possible. It's not a huge mountain, but they'll have their work cut out for them, and they'll know that.
Hey, they've already beaten a 1. They beat Syracuse.
Oh,
they beat a 2. They beat Kansas State.
They won't come in with any fear or lack of confidence, but they'll have to be really good at both ends of the floor, because Duke presents a lot of problems with size, skill on the perimeter.
West Virginia calls a timeout. Under 3 minutes to go. Hey, when Coach K took the job at Duke, Brad Stevens was 3 years old. Okay. And on Monday night, Brad Stevens will try to be the second youngest coach to ever win a title. Branch McCracken for Indiana back in 1940 was 31. Meanwhile, Coach K will try to become the 3rd oldest to ever win the championship, behind Fog Allen and John Wooden. The quick hands again of Thomas, all defensive player in the ACC, first team.
Well, the Blue Devils will just max out the shot clock here.
I think about that state and how much it meant to the 1.8 million great citizens of West Virginia. This basketball team Shire connects on a three. How much this team meant to them.
A special relationship, Jim. And that's why Bob Huggins was so proud to have a chance to get to this stage with this team.
Wellington Smith, senior whose career is going to end here tonight.
There's John Flowers. It's always tough when you get to this point and it ends abruptly.
Once Butler got hurt, it just absolutely
deflated.
You can almost just it was almost visible just watching the air come out of this building. It's just
out of the team and the building. You're right. Let's hope that Deshaun is okay. I mean, it looked quite serious, but we'll hope that the report will be better than it looked.
And another timeout by the Mountaineers.
I think it's just to substitute some guys in.
Coach Huggins wants to get some players in the box score. Duke with big subs too. The Huggins family, wife June, daughters Jenna Lee and Jacqueline. Son of a coach. He said he'd learned virtually everything from his dad Charlie, from the motion offense to his defensive principles and how to be incredibly prepared. He said we would practice 4 hours a day when he played for his dad in high school. And that's if we were doing well.
Right, exactly. And here you see another example of the feelings these guys have for one another.
Inbounding the ball is Cam Payne. He's the only West Virginian on the Mountaineer roster. And he was the one who said Coach Huggins is a direct reflection of the state, and we're a direct reflection of Coach Huggins. That's Dawkins with the rebound. You know, being here yesterday at practice and being around the teams on Thursday, you couldn't help but be impressed by the attitude that West Virginia had. And I know everyone comes here thinking they're going to win it, but it seemed to really come through when you met with West Virginia. That's Davidson. Jordan Davidson hits a three. The senior from Melbourne, Arkansas. That's Johnny West now bringing the ball up for the Mountaineers. Cam Thurman on the floor. It's Mason Plumlee. Gets it over to Dawkins. In the final 10 seconds are going to run out on this national semifinal. Well, you saw Duke at its absolute best in the tournament to this point. Blue Devils win it 78-57.